Hey everybody, my name's Thomas Turner, and what I want to do today is show you what Microsoft data classification labels are and how we use them. Well, first, what is the data classification label? And if we look at our example here, we've got HR data, employee comp data, and then an end of the year HR update. This is all HR data. Now, it's difficult for programs to figure out what HR data is, so we use data classification labels to tell the computer this is HR data, no ifs, ands, or buts. So how do we do that? How do we tell the computer that all of this is HR data? Well, there's a few things we can do. We can open up the files. So I'm going to open up my Word document here. And using my Word document, I can click on the sensitivity button in the upper right-hand corner. And then I could label this Special Program Information, HR. And now you'll see that I've got an HR label on my document. And if I go to save it, that HR label is still on there. So now, no matter where this Word document goes, it will have an HR label on it. I could do the same thing if I opened up Excel. So let's open up an Excel file here. It's got no label on there right now, as you can see, and I can add a label here if I wanted to. Or I could go back over to my sensitivity button on the right-hand side, and I could label that as HR as well, and save, and then close it. Same thing with PowerPoint. Nothing's changed here, but let's say I didn't want to label it through PowerPoint. What you could do is you could just right-click on the file, and then click Apply Sensitivity Labels with Purview. And if I right-click on the file and click that, I'm going to get this pop-up box. And right here, I can click on my HR label, and I can click Apply. And now, my PowerPoint has that sensitivity label on it. So let's say I wanted to remove that sensitivity label. I got the wrong label. I could go and just click on the label itself, and I'm going to get a pop-up box that says, whoa, hang on, why are you trying to remove my label? And I can say, I need to remove it for all sorts of reasons. And then I can click Change, and now my label's been turned off. If I wanted to remove the labels from a few files at once, I could highlight all my files, right-click on them, and click Apply Sensitivity Labels. And then I can click Delete File or Delete Labels here and click Apply, and I'm going to get that pop-up box. Same thing that just says, why are you removing these labels? And I can click Confirm. And then you'll notice that if I open up my Word document again, there's no label on there. So let's say I went in here and I highlighted a bunch of documents. I applied a sensitivity label to them. And I said, you know what? This is actually just executive data right here. I'm going to apply that executive data label to it. So if I open up any of my files here, let's open up that Word file again. You'll see that it's got that executive data label on it. Now, there's a few things I could do if I wanted to go, oh, you know what? This is an HR document. This isn't an executive document. I need to change that label. I could click on my sensitivity labels here again, and I could click on my HR label. And now it's saying, hey, you're changing the label on here. What are you changing that label for? And I could say, because I need to, blah, 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 blah. And then click Change That Label. And now, if I close out my document, save it, open it up, you'll see that my HR label is back in business and we are good to go. So, what are a few other things we could do here now that we've gone in, and I'm just going to switch everything back over to HR real quick. HR, Apply. Again, I had two other exec labels, so I got to tell me why am I going from exec down to HR. There we go. Let's spot check my Excel document here. Looking good, right label. Let's check that HR document. Looking good, got the right label, good stuff. All right, so now let's try to email these files out. So when we try to email those files out, I'm going to open up a brand new email. And the first thing I want to do is I'm going to email that HR data to somebody else who's also in HR. And somebody else who's also in HR is Pat Ford. And I'm going to say HR data for HR people. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to attachments here. I'm going to browse my PC. I'm going to go to my desktop, click on that HR data, and you'll see here, hey, your organization has applied this HR label to your email, the message, because of the attachment. So anytime we throw an attachment in an email that has a sensitivity label on it, the email itself becomes the same level of sensitivity. Now, if I had multiple attachments, the email itself is going to take whatever the most restrictive attachment is and then apply that to the email. So be a little cautious there. But now that we've had that set, we can click send, and that's on its way, and it's off to the races. The other thing we could do is, let's say, I wanted to send that HR data to Thomas at adp.com. HR data for ADP payroll support. Yeah. There we go. Give it some information, and let's attach that same HR data. But now you'll see this is all changed. It's saying, hey, you've attached a sensitive file, therefore we've made the email sensitive, and you are sending a sensitive email to somebody who the company does not agree that you should send that to right away. But again, you may have a completely legitimate reason for sending this email off. So what you can do is you can either override it right here by providing that justification, or you can just click send on the email, and then it's going to ask you to provide that justification. So I'm going to click send here, and then I'm going to provide my justification of why I'm sending this email, and then I'm going to click send or override. And now those have all gone out the door. If I didn't provide that override, it would have just blocked the email from going out the door, period. So now, let's say I wanted to upload that HR information to my SharePoint or my OneDrive. Company policy says we're going to keep all of this sensitive related information on the on-premise file server. And later on down the road, we may be able to upload it to your OneDrives and your SharePoints and your things like that. But right now, we're going to keep it all on-prem. So if I were to jump into my OneDrive here, let's click on some files, and then at the same time, let's do SharePoint as well, just because we're going to try to do it to both of them. Dun, 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 dun. So let's go documents here. Click on upload files, data, HR, and when I try to upload that HR file, I should get a pop-up that says upload blocked. Uploading HR data can't be done by your company policy. And then you'll see a more customized message down here based on your organization. But this shows that, hey, we can't upload HR-related data to SharePoint. And then if I went to OneDrive, I should get the exact same experience. So let's try to upload files, HR data. Yep, and I'm getting the same thing, prevents you from uploading, so you can't upload. See if I try to log in here, upload, HR data, and I get you're blocking this upload because it's just not an approved location for that upload. So right there, you kind of see how you can take files and add labels to them, remove labels from them, email them out, change those labels, and then upload them to SharePoint and OneDrive. So there's one more thing that I want to show you, and that's sharing. Right now, I open up this Excel file, click on File and Share, and then try to sign in so I can share it. And then let's say I try to do it to somebody who is outside the company. Let's do that Thomas at adp.com again. And it says, nope, you can only share with people inside your org. So again, if I tried going to somebody else in my org, send, and then you're going to get this DLP blocks everybody from sharing. So again, you can't share files with people, whether they're inside your org or outside the org. Later down the road, we'll probably add this functionality in the future, just not at the moment.